Using a spreadsheet helps make financial decisions easier. How interest rates affect one's savings over a long period of time is worth the effort to mastering simple calculations. In this example, we'll be looking at Google Sheets, a free spreadsheet program from Google's Drive application. The definition of simple interest is calculated by multiplying the principal by the interest rate by the number of periods. In this case, the bank will pay interest of 6% on our initial deposit of $20,000 for 10 years. Notice in most spreadsheet programs, the asterisk is the symbol for multiplication. The first time through, I'll show how to set up the formula cell by cell in the first row and then autofill to propagate the formula to the rest of the rows. The second time through, I'll show how to use named ranges to help give control over the important variables. It will make maintaining your spreadsheet much easier. First, I click on the cell where I want to display the first year's interest. Now I go to the formula bar and type in an equal sign. Next, click on the cell that holds the principal's value, type in a multiplication symbol. Click on the cell that holds the interest rate's value, type in another multiplication symbol, and finally, the number of which year this interest is calculating. Press Enter. Aha! I have just calculated the interest for 1 year, and, by definition of simple interest, the interest for every year my money is in this account. But what I'd really like to show is the principal plus all of the interest paid to me over the years. So I'll update my formula. I'll put a parenthesis around my main calculation, and then I'll add in the principal. It's important to remember that Excel follows math's order of operations: parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division, addition and subtraction. That's good for this one cell, but when I pull down on the autofill handle, my formulas get messed up. Why? Because I used referential addresses, and I must use absolute addresses. I'll do a Control-Z to undo the autofill. Now I'll click on the cell that contains the original formula. In the first two terms, I insert the $ before the cell and row names of the principal and interest rate. Now I'm using absolute addressing. Press Enter to commit the change, and autofill the rest of the years. And that's done. You can see how even simple interest can grow your money. Let's do another version of this formula, this time using named ranges. I'll assign a cell a name so that when I want to refer to the cell, I can type in principal or interest rate %. I don't have to worry about using absolute or referential addressing on this worksheet or on any other worksheet in the workbook. I can just use the named range. To start, I click on cell C1. Now I click on the Data tab and select Named Ranges. Over on the right-hand side, I now have to give it a unique and useful name, in this case, Principal. Note that there can't be any spaces in the name, and by tradition, programmers capitalize the start of each word to make it easier to read. Press Done to commit the change, and do the same for C2, interest rate %. Now when I click on either of the two named ranges, the cell is highlighted to help us figure out what's going on. This is a good practice because it makes maintaining the spreadsheet much easier. Let's make another column of calculations, but this time we'll use named ranges instead of the referential addresses. Click on the first cell for the formula, and in this case it's D8. In the formula bar, type in the equal sign, left parentheses, and now the named range fields. Press Enter. Autofill the rest of the cells by dragging the handle down. The calculations between the two columns will be the same. In the next video, we'll compare simple interest to compound interest, and compare the two types of interest by graphing the data out.